Good afternoon, everyone. This is Wallis Patterson, your host of Wednesdays with Wallis, and all I can say is I'm back. I did a number of these Wednesdays with Wallis quite some time ago, and then I went off and ventured down, as I'm calling this segment, down the rabbit hole. What does that mean? Well, I went off in search of myself and in search of, some other ideas and some inspiration. I'd gotten a bit stale and I got a bit, didn't know really where I was going and what I was doing, or what I wanted to do was more important. And what did I want to do? I was asking myself that question. And I think in the scheme of that was a big question for me, because I had gotten to a point where I was looking at what I was doing with fashion and that whole area, which I absolutely love. And I just thought it was a bit frivolous and meaningless. And I was wanting to think about, the bigger questions. I got really serious about, or too serious really, about where am I going, what am I doing, and I should be doing more meaningful and, amazing things to change people's lives and change the world, and thought I should be doing workshops or doing this or doing that or whatever. And, the more I thought about it, the more I got into my head about it, the more I got myself all embroiled in it down the hole further. The more I realised that was just a silly thing, and that, of course, fashion and dressing up and all these things are meaningful, and they are meaningful to us. What is more meaningful to us than feeling good about ourselves, and if we feel really good about ourselves, well, then we feel good about what we do and where we go and the people that we associate with. And there's a bigger question, a bigger discussion around this, which we may have at some time. I don't know. I don't want to get too serious about it. I just want to, enjoy what I'm doing. So I've gone back to doing Wednesdays with Wallis, getting dressed up. Look, what have I got on today? I've got one of my lovely crosses on. And I love icons and crosses and things like that. And I've got some fantastic pants on and little shoes and leopard print, red, all this on, jewellery. It's me. I just love it. I absolutely love it. So in the next video, in the next week of Wednesdays with Wallis, I'm going to talk about what came out of the rabbit hole and the new venture that I got myself into, which I'm going to mention in this, pardon me, and I'm going to briefly talk about it. And then I am going to, next week, I'm going to talk about it a little further and get in depth into that and talk about it. Talk about how that's going and what's happening with that, and you'll be taken on this journey with me. I'm going to begin the journey, the journey of Wallis finding herself, and hopefully it'll help you find yourself if you're not sure, or you're having a bit of a head bang about where you're going and what you're doing with your life and what you want to do and how you want that to look, etc., etc. And I was talking to a friend of mine today, and quite frankly, we get too much into how we think it's going to be and how it's going to look, and what we think that we want to be doing, what we think is important to us. And I think, if anything, during these times, we've all learnt that that's not always how it looks. It's not always like that. It's more, what actually, we don't. We find that it's not half the time, or a lot of the time, it's not what we thought. And it's not even what we thought we'd like to be doing. I had all sorts of ideas about, what I thought I should be doing, rather than what would I be doing that makes my heart sing, and what would I be doing that, I thoroughly enjoyed, or, got a real buzz out of. So I want to be doing those sorts of things. So came out of the rabbit hole and decided that I would go back to my roots, so to speak, when I first started Bold Not Old, which was about fashion and dressing up and finding out who else did that and whether other people liked to do it and all that sort of thing, and what inspired people around that, and or the whole thing about dressing up. And so I then looked at it all and thought, yes, I'd like to, one of the things I'd love to have had was, my own clothing label, and I'd love to have, done that sort of thing in life, but I didn't. But I thought, well, can I do it in a different way? And I thought, yes, I could simply do that with recycled clothing. So I started a new venture with Bold Not Old called Recycled Fabulous by Wallis, and it is. And I reserved my judgment on it. I wanted to see how that went. So last Sunday, the 14th of August, I had my first soiree, as I call it, which was an all-day thing on a Sunday from 10 till 4. And I sent out invitations and posted on social media, and those people around me who could come along came. And anyway, in the next edition of Wednesdays with Wallis, I'll tell you a little bit more about that, and how that went, and what I think about it and what I feel about it, and how it's important to be doing what it is that you really, really love to do, and that, your creative juices kick in when you're in that space. So until next Wednesday with Wallis, I'm going to just go back to doing fabulous things, and I'll see you then. And in the meantime, you have a go at doing some fabulous things with your life. You look to start something for yourself, to do things that float your boat. Will you do that for me? Thank you. And I'll see you next week on Wednesdays with Wallis. Thanks for joining me. I've had such a good time. Bye.